Give you a special. He came down to and was 25 years.
Test 1, 2.
Part of it.
Okay, if everyone will draw near. Who's, Deborah, who's doing this one?
Really,
For the virus. They just all walk.
there you go.
Welcome all to the Pembroke Pines City Commission regular meeting of September 18th, 2024. Can we have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Good,
I am here.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Present.
Commissioner Rodriguez. Here. Commissioner Schwartz.
Here.
Mayor Castillo,
Here.
City Manager Dodge,
Here.
City Attorney Gorin.
I'm here.
We have a quorum.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the Franklin Academy Choir, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then they will recite for us, sing for us the national anthem. Please, when you're ready. National anthem. Excuse me, Pledge Allegiance. As soon as you're ready. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wow. How beautiful.
If they could stay, ma'am, we have a little something and, Commissioner Hernandez, if you'll join me. That was just beautiful. This is a proclamation of the city of Pembroke Pines, Florida. The Franklin Academy Choir. Reading this entire thing. Hold on, folks. Okay. Whereas in May 2023, Franklin Academy's concert choir director, Dr. Yosmar Granados, noticed that music educator Greg Gilpin was set to participate in a music residency at Carnegie Hall in the summer of 2024. And whereas at that time, Dr. Granados' choir students were singing one of Gilpin's music pieces, How Can I Keep From Singing? And he submitted a video to the Distinguished Concerts International New York, hoping to be selected for their concert series at the prestigious Carnegie Hall, aligning with Greg Gilpin's residency in June 2024. And whereas at the end of the 23-24 school year, the Franklin Academy's concert choir received an official invitation to perform Greg Gilpin's music as part of the DCINY concert series in New York. And whereas in January 2024, the students received the concert repertoire and devoted the next 5.5 months rigorously rehearsing with remarkable dedication and focus. I'm sure you were. And whereas on June 9, 2024, 42 choristers, from Franklin Academy Concert Choir performed on the grand stage of Carnegie Hall in New York, where they delivered a truly moving performance. Now, I can't read this. You're the mayor. Sorry. Now therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, at the request of Commissioner Michael Hernandez, do hereby recognize Franklin Academy Concert Choir for their hard work and dedication by accomplishing something extraordinary. Congratulations.
Choir Director. If I may, good evening, City Commissioners, Mayor Castillo, Commissioner Hernandez, our wonderful Franklin families and guests. My name is Elena Diaz, and I am the very proud principal of Franklin Academy Pembroke Pines K-8 campus. Very well represented tonight. I am humbled this evening to stand before you as the principal of our phenomenal school. And I want to extend on behalf of our Franklin family, our sincere gratitude for not only your support, but for your sponsorship and for the partnership that you have, because partnerships between our local government and our schools are vital. It reminds our young people who are our future constituents that the community cares and they believe in you. This is a huge deal. This is a very important moment in your life. It's very special to be honored in this way. And I thank you, Commissioner Hernandez, for visiting our school, spending time with our students and our staff. Thank you for the invitation. We look forward to a continued partnership because together we can make Pembroke Pines the best city for our future. So thank you very much. And thank you, Dr. G, the best choir director ever.
I am simply a humble musician. So we are very blessed. I'm very thankful for your invitation. And if you need any choir for any future assignment, we'll love to represent the city of Pembroke Pines.
Well, I can tell you that based on what we just heard, we're going to be inviting you again. Congratulations. Let's take a picture together. Everyone come together. No, he's having to stay in front. We adults will stand behind. Right ahead. Somebody play. You good? Thank you. Congratulations. Is Ben Wesley here? We'll wait. Oh, you're here. Please come forward. Oh, you? Oh, yeah.
Members of the commission, it is my pleasure to stand before you. And I know many of you have already heard about my retirement from FPL, but after 21 great years with the company, I am retiring, as is my wife. And so we are going to be people of leisure now. I would like to introduce you to my replacement, Baldwin English. But before I do so, I want to say what a pleasure it has been working with all of you over those 21 years. It's been a great career, and we've done some really good things together. So thank you. And Baldwin has years of experience with Florida Power and Lights. He has been doing what I do, external affairs, in Dade County for the last 6 years. But he lived in Miramar, so he's a Broward County guy, and he took an opportunity to move up here and shorten his commute and come to a much better county. Baldwin?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, Council, City Manager, and Attorney. I've already had an opportunity to meet some of you and engage with you. I just want to say it's my honor to not replace, not much a replacement, but to continue, hopefully, the good work you've done here over the 21 years. Certainly, I'll make sure that I'm available to you. I'll make sure each of you have my card with my direct number, and we'll continue to be as responsive as possible. All right, thank you. Look forward to working with each of you.
Ben, I just want to say on behalf of all of us in the city of Pembroke Pines, thank you for everything that you've done. I can't say how many times I had you on the phone in the middle of the night when we lost electricity, when we had a storm. You were always accessible and you're always there for us. And I just want to say that this entire thing was a setup so that we could do this. This is a proclamation of the City of Pembroke Pines declaring Ben Wesley Day in the City of Pembroke Pines. And I want to thank you for helping to get him here, because he would not have come on his own. Whereas Ben Wesley started his career with Florida Power and Light in 2003 as an external affairs manager and handled local government and community relations, and throughout those years developed a cohesive and valuable relationship with the City of Pembroke Pines. And whereas Ben has consistently been a valuable partner in addressing issues which then allowed the city to respond to our residents with timely responses, and whereas the City of Pembroke Pines is most fortunate to have had a person of your caliber, capabilities, and dedication in the position you have filled for so many years. We deeply appreciate the important contributions you have made to our city and to the progress of our community. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim September 18th, 2024 as Ben Wesley Day. In the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, we congratulate you and offer our best wishes for a long, healthy, and happy retirement.
Take care, Ben.
Thank you. You're up. Are all street light issues.
Hey, Baldwin, we'll call you tomorrow. Be up at 8:30. Expect our calls, okay? All right, nothing short of excellence, okay? Awesome.
That's right. That's the staff. I get up at 5. Okay. Excellent. The first thing we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is handle the addendum. Which is the addendum item number 1. That's a motion to approve the proposed collective bargaining agreement between the City of Pembroke Pines and the IAFF Fire Union for the term of October 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2027, upon the ratification by the collective bargaining unit. I have a letter here from Paul Smith, President of Local 2292, to our Assistant City Manager, Dan Rothstein, which I'll read into the record. This letter is to inform you of the ratification results. Local 2022 has completed the ratification process for the subject contract. The results indicate votes from over 2/3 of our body, with a total vote of 145 for the contract and 3 against. Please use this letter as confirmation to proceed with the approval of commission to finalize the contract. Thank you, et cetera. Paul Smith, President of the union. The motion has been moved by Commissioner Schwartz. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Hernandez. Mrs. Smith, would you like to say a few words? Oh, after we got a vote. See?
Always negotiate.
That
was good. That was good.
Okay. Any discussion on this item?
Quickly, I just want to thank Local 2292, the men and women who serve us every day. I want to thank the administration. Look, it is certainly a trajectory that I am looking forward to getting to the absolute next level. Again, thank you for saving lives. Thank you for making our lives better. May you be safe always.
Commissioner Hernandez.
I think it's, I actually read through the entire proposal. I think it's probably one of the better ones that I've seen come out of
any city or any municipality in Broward County. So I wanted to congratulate. I know we haven't done it yet, so let's vote first, but congratulate everyone that got together and worked together. Thank you.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
Just wanted to say thank you to you guys for everything that you do and for coming together with the city. Thank you also to our staff. I know there's plenty of meetings, so I'm glad we came to this moment and hopefully you'll be able to speak in a little bit.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say that the city of Pembroke Pines is very fortunate to have our Pembroke Pines firefighters and all their rescue services. I can only tell you that they are top tier, and not just in Broward County, but in all of Florida. I can tell you that not because I'm just saying it, it's because I hear it regularly from my constituents who share with me the fact that had it not been for our fire rescue firefighters, that it might not be here today. Because of the timely delivery of the service, the quality of the service, the attention of care. It's amazing. And again, you can't put a dollar figure on the fact that your property has been protected, your life has been saved, that your future has been secured because of an intervention of the Pembroke Pines Firefighter Rescue. So I want to thank you all for your service that you do. And this contract is nothing more than just ensuring that you continue to stay top tier and deliver the best of services that the city of Pembroke Pines can ever receive. Thank you.
I just want to say that I recall serving on this commission during the recession. And those were very, very difficult days. The property values plummeted, as did the money coming into the city. There were estimates that somewhere between 20 and 25%, every fourth home in our city was either unemployed or had to take deep cuts in salaries. We were in a very, very precarious place, as were most cities. Our police and our fire service and our employees and even us came forward and we took cuts because it was necessary, but also because we love the city that we serve. And I will just never forget. I thought that that was going to be an incredibly difficult thing, and it was. But people understood it, and they bore it. They endured it, knowing that the time would come. And we've had smaller contracts since then. But this is a historic contract. This brings men and women in the fire department to a completely different level than they were at before. And they deserve every single nickel of it. It was a tough fight through and through. That is the hallmark, the trademark of a good negotiation, is where people fight like lions and then they lie down like sheep. And that's what we're going to do. The fighting is now over. We have a contract before us, and we are going to come together like the team, and we're going to celebrate it together. And as your mayor, nothing gives me greater satisfaction than to see this this done. Mr. Smith, do you have anything to add? Your name and title for the record, please. There's a button there that says speak. You're on.
Paul Smith, President, Local 2292. So I stand here with great pride, representing the men and women of this organization. It starts from the top and it goes all the way down to the bottom. So you made mention of our historic up and down. Many of our men and women were stripped. So I know there's a couple new commissioners here that don't really know that history. So when you look at this contract and you look at a very lucrative contract, this is pretty much everybody in that back room took it on the chin for quite a while. And they stayed here, they succeeded, they're administrative now, and they want the same thing I want for my men and women. So we do got the best. We do have the best here. We hear it all the time, second largest city in the Broward County, but we have the best men and women behind me. So want to thank you to Mr. Dodge. I know you didn't get beat up too much in the room, but I know you were behind the doors, getting us to where we needed to be. Bringing in Mrs. Rogers on a Friday, getting this deal done last week. So, my guys tell me all the time, it's young people that get it done. So I guess Ms. Rodriguez and Mr. Hernandez being the two new people on the desk, this is the first time we've had a contract on time. I've been here 19 years. We've always been with retros or behind the 8 ball. So I say that jokingly, but thank you. We did bring a lot of items to you guys, each of you personally, trying to push our agenda of getting restored back to the top. So I like what you said. We did have some business to take care of. Hopefully the feelings aren't hurt too much. And I think the chief and I can brush it off our shoulders and know we're doing the best for the organization, whether it's me trying to lead by benefits, wages, and safety, or him operating a budget. So we're going to move forward. After your vote, my last request would be if we could all stand at the front, take a picture.
Yes.
Shake hands and make this a historic moment in Pembroke Pines that labor comes first and all the other personal contracts can come last. I've sit here many nights and see tow truck ratification or contracts till you have to come to an agreement. Employees should be first, and then we'll worry about towing vehicles out of city. So,
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All
Is
right.
there any further comment? Any from the public? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This passes unanimously. Let's take a picture. Chief, will you and your staff join us, Mr. Dodge, Mr. Gorin? Can you do that by the flag, please? By the flag. Yeah. Yeah, over by the flag. Well, fall over. Great. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. You're it. It's great. It's great. Let's get out of there. Okay. Oh. I can do a. No, you're good. Who's the best fire department? All right. Congratulations. Well done, sir. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Okay. Okay. Commission order report,
None, Mayor.
appeals of the board adjustment decisions,
None, Mayor.
announcement of board committee appointments.
None, Mayor.
I have 2 requests for speakers. The first will be George Corrin. Mr. Corrin, your name and your address for the record, please.
Here I go.
Can I have one first?
Okay, the light is red.
I'm gonna hand
Okay,
this.
my
I'm gonna
name
give
is
this to the clerk.
George Corin. I reside at 6751 Southwest 11th Street in Pines Village. And I'm here tonight to tell you a little bit about North Perry Airport. So good evening all, and here we go. I come before you tonight not only as a resident living with the concerns I am about to deliver, but as your resident member of Pembroke Pines on North Perry Airport Community Advisory Committee. I wish to express great concern for the health, the welfare, and the lifestyle changes being brought to bear on every man, woman, and child in Broward County, especially children and the elderly living and working adjacent to North Perry Airport. The unabated growth of operations over the last 30 years, fostered by Broward County Aviation Department, has gone far beyond what our surrounding communities can safely absorb. North Perry Airport, located totally within the city of Pembroke Pines, is definitely unique. I've yet to find a small general aviation airport in the continental United States that can compare with North Perry Airport in the density of population adjacent to it and the number of operations it produces annually. An operation is a flight taking off or a flight landing. So we have currently 300,000 operations annually and are ranked number 5 in the nation. Over the course of the last 30 years, the talk among the residents regarding the toxicity of lead emissions released over us by the piston engine aircraft of North Perry Airport, fueled by highly leaded avgas, noise pollution, and air quality has grown from a murmur to an uproar. Our tax-paying residents want and need to know what we have been exposed to and what we are presently being exposed to every day. Such information is critical to managing our lives. Sufficient testing and studies by non-governmental and governmental entities have produced undeniable results. The effects of lead, noise, air, and soil pollution absolutely pose a danger to all forms of life being chronically exposed to this pollution. Newspapers and television have frequently reported on our situation and concerns. The few are forcing great sacrifice on the many. Please think about that for a moment. Not a good paradigm to live under. The lead from aviation fuel, a neurotoxin, poisons us with a profound effect on children and the elderly, diminishing the cognitive abilities of both. PM, particulate matter, from the inefficient piston engine aircraft rains down on us daily, collecting on our homes, lawns, patios, cars, schools, playgrounds, pets, and us. Physical education teachers at a nearby elementary school now use a megaphone to direct student activities on the playground to be heard above aircraft noise. Families can enjoy outside activities in their yards and pools. It is difficult to carry on a conversation or use a cordless phone outdoors. Do these problems and concerns not diminish quality of life for these living under this umbrella? As the Pembroke Pines resident member of North Perry Airport Community Advisory Committee, I have consistently made clear these concerns, as have other members of the committee. Broward County Aviation Department earmarked budget money last year for a quality study, environmental testing. I asked Mayor Castillo what has been done. He asked BCAD, Broward County Aviation Department, the same question. The reply he received was nothing has been done. No study or testing will be done. As I hear it, using data interpolated from other airports, they feel no need to test the areas surrounding North Perry Airport. There is no record of any testing ever being done on our surrounding areas, meaning they have only an idea of what has happened in the situation at present. To me, this is hogwash. Based on the uniqueness of North Perry Airport, it negates all the testing done elsewhere. Pembroke Pines and our neighboring cities of Miramar and Hollywood must ask why the reluctance to giving us the true facts for all to see, assess, and react. The long-term effects of living under, excuse me. These conditions is becoming more evident every day and can no longer be ignored. May I suggest it is time for Pembroke Pines, possibly in conjunction with neighboring cities, to hire an unbiased aviation expert to weigh in on the conditions at hand and take information forward to the necessary contacts for further action on our behalf. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kit Jordan, did you have something to add?
Yes. Good evening. I'm Kit Jordan, and I live at 7030 Southwest 10th Court in Pines Village for the past 36 years. I have personally requested an air quality study and was denied. I also contacted Patrick Scott with the EPA and was also denied for a study. Even though the EPA issued a proposed endangerment finding on October 17th, 2022, providing that lead emissions from aircraft engines and operate on leaded fuel could contribute to air pollution that may reasonably anticipate to endanger public health and welfare under the Federal Clean Air Act. Residents who live within half mile of Perry Airport are exposed to higher levels of lead. Per the CDC, there is no safe amount of lead toxicity. 80% of lead emissions occurs as planes taxi, take off, and land. Avgas is the largest source of airborne lead pollution. Our children are in danger and could be health compromised. Inert components store lead for decades in their organs, tissues, and bones. Within said half mile of the airport have a fifth of a microgram higher levels of lead in their blood. We cannot stress the importance of air quality study that has been due for decades. Lead can cause a number of health issues such as autism, mental health, and other illnesses, and even the cancers are being questioned. Please support our efforts to get this study done immediately. A few may be heard. With your support, we all will be heard. It has been said, we either step up or step down.
I want to thank you very, very much. I was a commissioner when this issue came up last year. And a representative of the aviation division of Broward County came forward to indicate that they were willing to put $30,000 into the budget, which did in fact happen. That $30,000 was inserted into the budget. He would not commit at that meeting to doing the study, even though he would commit to putting the money in the budget to do the study. You were all contacted by the news, CBS News, who contacted me as well. I contacted the mayor's office in Broward County at your request and asked, where's the study? And the response that I got from the aviation department was that they decided not to do it. And they didn't provide a reason for it. I can't help but be offended at the casual way in which the aviation department is cavalier sort of way, as it were, that the aviation department is responding to the concerns of surrounding community members in light of the EPA report, which when you read it, it's actually kind of, well, it's kind of shocking. They took a look at airports pretty much all over the United States and consider North Perry Airport one of the ones that have the dirtiest air. The FAA says that they won't be switching over to unleaded fuel until 2030.
Right.
Why they've chosen 2030 rather than do it sooner, well, causes people to speculate. But between now and 2030 and the damage that's already been done, or potentially has been done, I think it's important that that this commission stand for this issue in a stronger way. I was actually sort of offended when I heard that the aviation department would not do the study independently, having put money in the budget to do it. It sends the message that, you know what, you all just have to suffer there while we do what we want to do. And that is a quintessentially un-Pembroke Pines way to behave. And I have to tell you that maybe it is time for us to hire somebody who can give us independent advice on what's going on. And Mr. Dodge, I think that we should talk about that. Maybe we should go visit with the county manager and explain to them that we have residents who are concerned about their lungs. No different than we all banded together to oppose incineration for the very same reason. It seems to me hypocritical for us to have one position on incineration and another position on North Perry when they're the same issue. What goes into the air, in part, but also what goes into the water, what goes into the land, and the impacts. The residents in the surrounding communities are struggling to maintain that community, and we have an interest in keeping up the property values in that area. And I'm sorry, I feel very offended that the aviation department just thinks they can just, we're not going to do it. And I don't care for that. Commissioners?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So this has been a very long ongoing thing, and it's not about going against the airport. It's just kind of trying to get a handle on what's happening within the community. Educating the community is better than doing nothing and innocently getting yourself involved in worse situations. So one of the things, though, Mr. Mayor, you referenced, you're right, because the Broward County Airport Division unfortunately has been nonchalant, not just about this issue, but about some other issues as well, and how it directly impacts us and our ability to serve the community too. We asked, I think about 2 meetings ago, to your point, about trying to get an idea about, you know, what would we need to do, because Fort Lauderdale has done this study themselves. They put out a report. Did a report by themselves. They didn't go through the Broward County. And that report is complete and it is available And I don't know if any of you all have seen that report that was presented by staff, because we asked at this dais for that report to be given to us. And I think, again, asking again if maybe, there's a little bit more effort in ensuring that we actually get that report, because that report will tell us, two things, really. One is, generally what can we expect? And two, what would it cost us to have to do that? Because that's going to be there. And then, Mr. Mayor, I think it's not a bad idea, to Mr. Corn's point about maybe reaching out to both Miramar and the Hollywood and see if they're willing to participate too. Because, we could just
They're
do.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's if you're talking around the airport, it's not just Pembroke Pines, it's also Miramar and Hollywood. So maybe there's a synergy element there that could happen as well. And maybe you can take that to the mayors of those other cities as well and ask them if they're willing to participate as well. But I think it all starts with us at least getting a look at their report and just getting an idea of what to expect. And, because we don't want to run around yelling the roof, the sky is falling, but we do need to have better information to educate folks that live in and around the airport.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Rodriguez.
Hi, I agree that if needed, we should kind of put forth the plan for a report. However, I think my reservation on that maybe a little bit is, what do we do after? What then? Because what are we going to send it to FAA or whatever the organization is? From my understanding, the lead fuel that goes into the airplanes, it's not under our jurisdiction. It's not anything that we can personally do about it other than advocate. So if
Right.
our plan is to have this, to advocate and, us take a lead on something like that, then
Yeah.
I'm all for it. But we need to understand that doing just the report isn't going to be enough. I'm not willing to put dollars down to do a report to then kind of wash our hands of it. It needs to come with some kind of action, some advocacy from the people on this dais and seeing where we can move forward, because doing it just to do it, that doesn't make too much sense to me. And I don't know if we have the jurisdiction to do anything more than advocate or kind of talk with higher ups or whatever other organization. So that's my 2 cents. I would like to do it, but we also have to have a plan to, for what to do after.
Point well taken. Commissioner Hernandez.
I'd just like to thank both of you for coming out tonight. I know it's probably a little bit of a distance from where you live, so I appreciate you coming out and putting your testimony on the record. I really don't have much to add, especially listening to the three of you that have a lot of experience with this. Commissioner Rodriguez working in Broward County as well. So I'll be supportive of whatever the majority on this board decides.
Commissioner Schwartz.
Thank you. As the in-house expert on aviation, let me shed some light. Not in any particular order. I appreciate the speakers this evening. BCAD, as I mentioned, 2 meetings ago, maybe 3, Vice Mayor Good and I were at a town hall and we heard directly from BCAD of what their plans are and what the results have shown. Mr. Corn was there as well. Mr. Corn spoke. Mr. Corn was educated. Let's first talk about unleaded fuel. There's not one pilot in America that doesn't want to fly an airplane that doesn't have unleaded fuel in it. We welcome it. It's called the Eagle program. Now, when we had a pandemic, science had to find a cure, or at least an ability for us to get through people not dying. It was through technology. They actually came out of RNA technology from a disease that occurred 20 years before. And that technology is what gave us COVID vaccines. The Eagle program has been testing now for several years. There have been major operators throughout the country. Engines are being tested. What the FAA doesn't want to do is put a product in a plane that winds up crashing into someone's home because the fuel and the motor doesn't agree. So that technology, there's currently 3 industry leaders, bringing that forward. It's being tested. If I had an opportunity to put it in my bird right now, I'd do it. But it's not available in South Florida. The reason why it's not available in South Florida is transportation costs. So they bring it into Houston, they push it out in the Houston area, but they can't make it to South Florida without it being economically unreasonable. Number two, we have unleaded fuel at Perry Airport. Three, the difference between Pembroke Pines and Fort Lauderdale is Fort Lauderdale owns Fort Lauderdale Executive. It's their airport. It's not BCAT's airport. BCAT has North Perry, and that's the reason why they have jurisdiction over it. Four, I have been in aviation my entire life. Took my first airplane ride when I was 3 years old. I'm 50 now, 53. So for 50 years, I've been around this stuff. 2 years ago, when this came up, I offered to be tested myself. Offer still stands. I also know this, that I grew up in a home that was built before 1978. Everything before 1978 had lead paint in it. Exterior paint, interior paint, roofing material. So soil samples around the village can't show the difference between lead paint that came from DuPont or lead coming out of a motor. There's no way to differentiate that. The point of, and I'm not here defending BCAT. They made a commitment. They need to see it through. I was a part of that motion to have it through. So the record's clear where I stand on that. With respect to North Perry, Mr. Corrin was at the town hall when BCAT explained the expansion of North Perry and what the service levels at North Perry are going to be in the future. FAA-driven projects, $19 million of infrastructure over the next 3 years. That's going to occur. The only reason why it hasn't occurred yet is because of COVID. Otherwise, it would have been done already. The North Perry, Mr. Corrin, is no longer ranked number 5. It's number 3 in the state of Florida.
Could you speak up?
Sure, sure.
Yes, thank you.
North Perry is no longer number 5 in the state. It's number 3 in the state.
Okay.
We have 3 major airports in Florida: Tampa International, Orlando International, Miami International. North Perry has more operations than Tampa International, 3rd in the state. As far as general aviation goes, it is true that the number of operations has reached a level that's approximately 1,000 operations a day being recorded while the tower is open. But BCAT has taken an additional step to capture all traffic, and they've invested in technology that can track the number of aircraft operations within the area while the tower is not operating. And those hours are between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m., 7 days a week. The half-mile radius. The half-mile radius is an EPA standard that they chose. And what the study out of Fort Lauderdale actually did was they looked at the EPA study to see if it was valid, because there were some presumptions in that EPA study. There wasn't actual facts of concrete evidence. They extrapolated based on the number of operations that came up with a number without doing any testing at all. They said, well, we know that lead fuels are being burned. We know these are a number of operations. So by deduction, scientific deduction, this is what it should be. And they drew data from 2016. So Fort Lauderdale, the commission in Fort Lauderdale, they took action for executives. BCAT made promises to us that they haven't fulfilled. I'd like to see BCAT fulfill their promises. Meanwhile, 2030, not because it's an arbitrary number, it's because there's a certification process required. Just like when new battery technology comes out with cars, there's a few things. How long does it last? And is it safe when a first responder has to go with the jaws of life and cut through it? There's lots of different steps that have to be made. So Mr. Corn and I are on the same page. We don't want lead fuel. And I'm looking forward to the day that we can be lead free. Meanwhile, we still have lead in our homes because lead doesn't go away in a home. You can't get rid of it. As a certified home inspector, I was certified for lead removal and the steps it took. As an indoor environmental license inspector, I was trained on how to remove lead walls, lead paint, encapsulating everything from negative air pressure to what you had to wear as a Tyvek suit. I am fully aware and educated on what Mr. Corn is concerned about. I asked him to join me and let's get tested together. Let's make it happen. Let's be the example of the community. Let's do it.
Do the
Thank you, Mayor.
testing? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, let's go get tested.
Yeah, let's find out where we are.
No, you and I will go. You and I will go and we'll go get tested.
No, well,
Okay, all right.
Mr. Mayor?
Just one more thing and then we have to move on. Go ahead. Yes,
Yeah, okay.
you speak in the mic. In the mic.
Okay, the lead item, okay? Yes, it was taken out of paint, it was taken out of cars. In all that time, aviation was unscathed. Now, they've started on the removing the lead from the fuel. But now, as these planes right now add unleaded fuel, they're increasing the number of operations year after year. And there's enough old planes out there that cannot be retrofitted. Are these people going to give up their aircraft willingly? Buy a new one that'll run on unleaded fuel?
If I may.
So the
point of
danger
clarification.
will, just a minute, let me finish,
Let him
please.
finish.
Let me finish.
It's unfactual.
Let him finish.
The danger will stay at least at the same level or increase until no plane at North Perry flies with unleaded fuel. Thank you.
So Mayor, if I may, and I'm not debating the public here. I just want to clarify a point. I fly unleaded fuel every day.
Fine.
There's some aircraft that I can physically fly, and I do fly unleaded fuel. There are other high compression engines that can't. The purpose of the lead is to do two things. It's to protect valves from cracking, and it's provided to cool motors. Sure.
Hold on.
I
Let the commissioner finish. We can't
Okay.
have this.
So-
Commissioner, please wrap up.
There are legacy aircraft from the 1940s, and there's aircraft built in 2024 that operate on unleaded fuel at North Perry every single day. Now, the FAA has full authority over the certification process. I am eagerly waiting for the day that we're off of leaded fuel. But until that technology changes, we have to advocate. And again, you asked about BCAD doing their part. They made a commitment. I have no problem reaching out tomorrow and asking them where they're at with it. I have no issues doing that. If the county administrator authorizes it, it gets put through. If Director Mark Gale authorizes it, it goes through. Those are the two individuals that will determine whether or not it's going to move forward. It's been budgeted. So I welcome the conversation. I do. But as Commissioner Rodriguez said, the results, if we can't act on them, it turns into advocacy. I'm advocating, let's go, let's work together, in getting this done. I have no issues doing that, Mayor.
Okay, I'm going to say that, I like the idea of getting someone independent. I think that we're fortunate to have points of view in-house that that have some information about aviation. But I don't want to rely on anyone whose personal business interests might be conflicted with, the information that's placed before us on a matter so important as the health of our residents. I want that because then what happens is no matter what we rely on, it's going to be looked at from one side or another, or from one resident or another as being somehow,
Optics, you're talking about optics.
optics.
Yeah.
So I think the optics of this demand that we, if we're going to ascribe seriousness to it, and I think we should, that we seek out independent advice, and that we take that advice from them, and that we look at this. I am prepared to do that. I'm sensing that there may be a critical mass of support to go down that road. Before we do, I think I'd like to be authorized by you all to meet with the manager and to go up to Broward County and to have that conversation. However, we need to be clear about this. Today on my Facebook post, I put an old saying, which is sort of a Mark Twain thing. There is nothing learned from the second kick you get from a mule that you shouldn't have learned from the first kick. You may not send your mayor and manager to the county and then change your mind later. You must have a certain degree of, I'm on this frequency, or don't send us, because then it affects the credibility of the city. And that's not a scenario I shall revisit again. So let's be clear. Do you all wish me and the manager to go up and engage with the county on this issue on behalf of residents who are concerned about their air quality, or don't you?
If I may ask the manager, City Manager Dodge, when's the last time you had a conversation with the county administrator over this issue?
I have never had a conversation with the county administrator.
Why don't we give the manager that first opportunity before we pile on? City Manager,
Commissioner
form of government.
Schwartz, my question was, I want to know from you all whether you are in support of the city of Pembroke Pines going to the county with some level of seriousness and saying, we are not happy that the residents' needs and desires and reasonable requests, like things like air, what's in their air, is not being done.
Let me.
So I want to start over here. Vice Mayor, are you okay with that?
I am okay, and I just want to make one thing clear. This is.
No, you gotta put your,
Yeah, I'm in support of that, Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
and I do want to make it clear though, that I don't see this as the same as the last path that you took.
no, it's okay.
But I hear what you're
That we
speaking
took.
to.
That we
all
took.
Yes. So I see
Because
that
there's,
different.
because there are some that
but-
are thinking that that was my deal, but as I recall it, we were sent.
Well, I think what you're doing is.
So I want to be real clear.
And that's what I think is the difference now, is that you are making it much more clear and.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Okay. Commissioner Rodriguez, are you okay with it?
I'm okay with it. I think from the county's perspective is also what then? Like that's what Ms. Sapero is gonna kind of come back to you with
Right.
is what, you know, so we do the study. My feeling and my intuition tells me that they're afraid of getting sued.
That
If
could
this,
be.
if this comes to light, that it is poisoning, that, you know, that there's, and I don't know, I'm not a lawyer by any means, but I think their restriction is kind of along those lines.
I have to,
They did this, study.
yeah. We're gonna have to take a look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, on that
But
point.
hold on,
yeah.
one at a time.
That was-
Commissioner
okay.
Rodriguez has the floor.
That's all, my intuition is that that's one of the reasons that they are kind of holding back on it. And if you are able to maneuver that situation, I think they're be a little bit more willing to do this. But I mean, Vice Mayor Gooden makes a point, you know, what has happened in Fort Lauderdale. Do we know
We're
when
gonna have
that,
to find out.
when that one was done, the Fort Lauderdale one?
We will do the research.
2 months ago? Okay.
We will do the research. The manager will reach out and get that report. We will do the research. Commissioner Hernandez, are you in support of us going to the county to press the need, the needs of the residents?
Yeah, and I'm certainly not a scientist. I can't tell you one way or another how it would turn out. What I am saying is I think it's it's an opportunity for us to communicate directly, whether it's with the administrator or Mr. Gale, who's the head of aviation, whom I've met before. So I'd be in favor of it, whether it's the manager alone or the manager and the mayor, however you guys decide is fine with me.
Commissioner Schwartz, are you okay with us going to the county to press the issues of the residents?
No, Mayor, you've already acknowledged that you've spoken with the mayor of Broward County and.
No, all we asked of the mayor of Broward County was where this report was.
Okay, so what's going to be different from what if, let
I
me,
don't yet know.
okay, so.
My question is, are
All right,
you,
let
are you
me-
supporting us going up there to press the needs of the residents?
Let me articulate my position.
Okay.
The manager has spoken to us, has told us that he has not yet had a direct conversation, communication, exchange with the county administrator.
Mm-hmm.
We are a city manager form of government. We are a county administrator form of government.
Everyone here knows that. Okay, let's
And-
get to the point.
So you're gonna let me finish my,
I'm waiting for you to get to a point.
I do
The
not,
question was very direct.
I believe your injection would complicate things, if I'm
Okay.
being quite clear.
Okay. Thank you. We have a consensus here?
No,
Okay,
we
thank
do
you.
not have
All
a
right,
consensus.
we will come back to you with it, and you can all expect an item soon on this issue, and thank you very much for coming forward.
Mayor, I objected to consensus. Can we take a vote on that?
Sure. Will you make that a motion?
I can make that a motion, Mr.
Is
Mayor.
there a
that we
second?
send that the mayor and.
There's a
city
motion and a
manager-
second to send the mayor and the manager to Broward County to press the needs of the residents and the concerns of the residents with respect to North Perry Airport. Okay, you call the roll, please?
Is there a discussion on that motion?
We've already discussed it.
Then
Call the roll, please.
I want to offer a substitute motion.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Good,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Short,
I can't in good conscience vote.
You must vote.
Mayor.
No, I'm saying I'm voting no for.
Okay.
And for the reason.
He voted no. Okay, go ahead.
Mayor Castillo.
Yes. Okay, so by your vote, we will engage in that, and I want to thank you for your
This
presentation.
will be a publicly noticed meeting.
Thank you.
Yes?
No, it won't. It'll be a meeting, but as directed by the commission.
I would like.
Thank
to-
you very
I would
much.
like to attend that meeting as
Okay,
well.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we have the consent agenda, which is items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What is your pleasure?
Number two,
Number 2 for Commissioner Schwartz.
Number 6 for me.
Number 6 for Commissioner Rodriguez. Yes, anybody else? Can I have a motion on the balance of the items?
I'll move that.
Moved by Commissioner Hernandez. Is there a second? I'll second them, second by the vice mayor. Any discussion? All those, any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Schwartz, you're recognized for item number 2.
Motion to approve the purchase of 6 Motorola ATX Next XN portable radios, 7 Motorola ATX Next XE portable radios, and related accessories for the fire department from Motorola Solutions, utilizing pricing established by the Sourcewell contract number 042021 for a total amount not to exceed 150,000 pursuant to section 3518C of the city's code of ordinances.
Is there a second? Second. Second by the vice mayor, Commissioner Schwartz.
Supporting the item, but I just want to bring administration up to speed. Back in July, I had a conversation with Tracy Jackson. As you know, he's moved on from position, but Tracy Jackson was responsible for dispatch. Okay, and we had a specific conversation about the technology concerns about the radios that first responders have and being blocked inside the building, meaning that they're unable to communicate. He asked for, he was looking for a test pilot place that this technology could enhance things. I encouraged him to reach out to the city manager to offer up our charter schools as a test pilot. This item tonight is my ask for the city manager to reach out to the county and offer our buildings as a test pilot for this technology so we can be a safer Broward County. That's it.
Is that a motion?
That'll be a motion.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second it. I actually am familiar with that difficulty of communication within some of these building structures. And I don't know what the harm would be if we did do, a pilot, through some of our buildings in regards to what that communication is
I think
when you're
that,
inside of this
I
facility.
think this, the best thing would be to ask the county and the sheriff's office whether they've already done
They haven't. Mr. Jackson
that.
said.
Mr. Chief, could you come forward, please?
The county hasn't, Mayor.
Good evening, Marcel Rodriguez.
Are you aware of any interoperability communications testing that goes on at Broward County with respect to Motorola products to ensure that they function in different environments?
I am. It's just not, it's not a Motorola products alone. It's all radio communications in these buildings, because of their construction.
Right.
There are certain areas within these structures that just, the communication is very poor at best.
I've heard it said that it's sometimes tough in the hospitals.
That is correct.
I've
It's
heard
not
it
just
said it's
hospitals.
sometimes tough in schools.
That is correct.
Commissioner Schwartz, the technology is the technology. What do we hope to accomplish by this?
What Mr. Jackson is hoping to accomplish is, he had mentioned to me about being able to tap into, let's say, the Pembroke Pines Charter School Wi-Fi network that could jump a transmission. And Chief, I'm sure you sit in these meetings, so it's.
So there's several initiatives right now in place, working through ORT and other committees that we're trying to accomplish is, one is the ideal option is BDAs, the installment of BDAs in these facilities.
Right.
That's the more costly of options. The other option that we believe is going to be proven to be very reliable is the Smart Connect proprietary feature that's available through this Motorola radio. So this is one of the things that'll hopefully overcome those current issues that we're having.
Right. So Mayor, if you recall, there was a mandate that we purchased some years ago, new radios, and we made the investment, but the county fell short of actually getting the infrastructure ready so we could use them. And I'm glad we're we're doing this purchase tonight. I'm happy to support this purchase tonight, but I just feel like we're making such small steps forward in getting to ensure that first responders can get to the places that they have to get to, especially in schools and hospitals. We're just falling woefully short when it comes to, just the technology at hand. I don't want to wait till 2030 to get this thing fixed, right? Similar
I'm with you.
situation. So now we have first responder radios that can't get through a wall, and we have aircraft engines that can't run on unleaded fuel, right? Same type of technology that has to be discovered and has to be. So I'm willing to do a pilot project and offer up whatever resources we have. And I thought about this building here because God help you if you're trying to get on your cell phone on the elevator, it doesn't go, right?
I have to tell you, I don't think that anyone could object if they wanted to do these tests. Mr. Dodge, would you object?
I have no objection, but I'm a little surprised because this wasn't brought to my attention. I have spoken to the chief and to the police chief. Yes, there are communication barriers in many buildings due to the construction. This item on the agenda is simply to replace outdated radios. So we really don't have a choice. We have to replace those outdated radios. If there is some type of a test that can be done, certainly we would participate.
Why don't we just ask the chief to contact the sheriff's office in the county and ask about this? And if you could just write to us and just tell us what, offer them if they want to use that facility. I don't know if they would pick that facility or if they would pick another. I really just don't know. For all I know.
This test and these initiatives to overcome some of these issues that are countywide, it's not just specific to Pembroke Pines, are ongoing, and they're currently very active and at the forefront of our meetings, both through the Fire Marshals Committee, which Danny, our Fire Marshal, chairs, through the ORC Committee, as well as the Fire Chiefs Association. So these are very active conversations that, I think preferably since, before 2030, I expect to have a solution to them.
All right, thank you, chief.
Okay,
You're welcome.
good enough. Anything else on that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Rodriguez, you are, I think it was number 6. You're recognized.
I have to read it, correct?
Yes,
ma'am, you do.
Motion to approve a contract for the police department's participation in the pedestrian and bicycle safety enforcement campaign.
Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Rodriguez, you're recognized.
I'm in favor of this. It's obviously a very simple item, but I did want to call off Chief Vargas to come up just for a quick question.
Sure.
I'm trying to understand a little bit more on this program as to what high visibility education means. And what are the kinds of programs that you guys are either currently running, will be running. And then as a little asterisk, I will say, you guys do amazing work, and I've told you this personally. Thank you for taking care of the cyclists and the pedestrians on the street. But I will say a lot of it on the safety end is also infrastructure wise. So it's just a note for us on here, because I think the notion is that the safety is on the pedestrians and on the cyclists, maybe the people on the road, but it's the infrastructure itself that also adds to the issues that we see. And noted on there is just how many people lose their life because cars are going too fast because of, how our roads are kind of set up. So that's my little asterisk, because I like to bring that up whenever I get the chance. But specifically on this, what is that high visibility education, and what is our department doing on that end?
Sure, Jose Vargas, Chief of Police. So this is a grant-funded program through Florida Department of Transportation and IPTM. Basically, this is in addition to the efforts that we already do. We've been doing this for well over 10 years. This grant has been approved through this commission for over a decade. High visibility enforcement, you will see our officers at these predetermined locations that you read on here, pulling cars over every time they meet that criteria for that, providing education. Part of this is also a communication campaign, advertising ahead of time where they'll be doing that. This isn't a gotcha moment. This is basically
maintaining that safety, as you know, and you've alluded to. We're very committed to traffic safety here in Pembroke Pines. It's one of our top priorities. You, ma'am, have spoken to me about that, as have all of you at some point, how much you prioritize and think that it's very important for us to maintain that traffic safety.
Okay, so on the
Yes.
visibility, it's simply for our officers to be visible on the road.
They will be
Okay.
out there very visibly pulling cars over.
In
They'll
the
have their
specific
marked
3
units
areas.
out. I'm sorry?
In the specific 3 areas.
For
Or-
this, we'll be out there outside of this grant
Mhm.
doing other intersections for sure, throughout the city as we try to do our best on that. This is in addition to our normal hours, so they'll be
Okay.
on overtime, basically,
Mhm.
outside of their normal working hours. But, you know, in conversations with you and others, we have many things in the works, specific to, bicycle and pedestrian safety. That includes anything from, we're having our bicycle patrol team, those are our officers on bicycles, going out, evaluating, assessing as they're riding their bicycles, identifying, okay, what could we recommend for improvements? It could be better striping on the roadway. It could be better signage to alert drivers. Hey, you're in a designated bike lane, be careful here. To things like coloring books for the kids, you know, remind them of wearing helmets and bike safety rules, so that they're not just going out there on the middle of the road and exposing themselves to a hazardous situation. And drivers, of course.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Just because
Yeah.
I asked mostly because the performance measures on this is very simple. It's, you know, you got to show two media engagements, and it looks like that's it. So I just wanted clarification on that. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Anything further? Anything from the public? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. City Attorney, second reading ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 12 is next up on the agenda. It's a motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 2024-08 on second and final reading. 2024-08 is an ordinance of the City of Pembroke Pines Commission, amending Chapter 155, references the Land Development Code of the City of Pembroke Pines by amending Section 155.401 entitled Zoning Map to amend the city zoning district map to rezone an approximately 9-acre parcel of land generally located north of Pembroke Road and east of Douglas Road, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, from C1 references commercial with restrictive covenants to C1 with updated restrictive covenants as set forth and incorporated herein as Exhibit B, providing for codification, providing for conflict severability, and providing for effective date. Item number 12 on the floor for consideration. Number
Is there a
12.
motion?
Motion to approve.
The Vice Mayor has moved the item. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Discussion. Seeing none, any from the public? The clerk will call the roll.
Vice Mayor Good,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
No.
Mayor Castillo,
Yes, and by your vote, this item is a law.
For the record, Mayor and Commissioner, the permanent number for the records is number 2029.
Thank you very, very much. Item 13, please.
13, Mayor and Commissioner, on the table for consideration is the following. It is a motion to pass proposed ordinance number 2024-11 on second and final reading, which is an ordinance of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, amending the city's code of ordinances related to the city pension fund for firefighters and police officers by specifically amending section 34.56 subsection N of the city's code of ordinances entitled Board Established Powers and Duties to amend the investment powers and authority of the Board of Trustees of the pension fund, providing for codification, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and finally providing for an effective date. This would be number 13 on the floor, Mayor, for consideration for review.
Thank
13.
you so very, very much. Is there a motion to adopt? Moved by Commissioner Hernandez. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz, Vice Mayor Good,
Yes.
Mayor Castillo,
Yes.
For the record, the permanent number for that ordinance is number 2030,
By your vote, this
2030.
is, authorized. Thank you very much. Resolution.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Number 14 is a resolution. It's a motion to adopt resolution number 2024-R34, which is a proposed resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, expressing that discrimination on the basis of race, religion, gender, or national origin in the sale, rental, leasing, or financing of housing or land to be used for construction of housing or in the provision of brokerage services is prohibited by Title 8 of the 1968 Civil Rights Act, the Federal Fair Housing Law, providing for conflict severability, providing for an effective date. Number 14 on the floor.
I think we would all want to move this item, but who wants to move it?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by all of us. Any discussion? Commissioner Schwartz,
Who sponsored the resolution?
who sponsored the resolution?
Department.
Mike Stamus, the city manager. This item comes through the planning department as part of our housing program.
Right.
And Mr. Stam, good evening. You felt necessary to take this position. This isn't Pembroke Pines alone. What's going on? Is there some?
Requirement.
It's a requirement. This is regularly done. I think we did another one of these about 3 or 4 years ago.
He's asking, is it HUD that requires it? Is it the convention?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so we're going, okay, thank you.
Anything else? Any from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
And for the record, Mayor and Commissioner, permanent resolution number is number 3883. 3883. Thank you, Mayor.
Regular agenda, reports of the league.
Mayor, there's a general meeting tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing some people, maybe even some county people, ask them to, fulfill their promises.
Are they serving chicken?
I hear there's fish on the menu tomorrow.
Oh, fish tomorrow. Oh,
From what I hear.
okay. Anything else from the league? Okay. Reports of the city manager?
No items, Mayor.
I'm
No,
sorry.
Mr. Mayor, no, not this evening, but
Not
thank you
this
for your time on the earlier.
Reports of the
items.
city attorney.
Thanks, thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report this evening. I will place the item on Calyx on the next agenda for consideration, the matter which we discussed at the last commission meeting referencing a potential settlement. Thank you.
Okay. Commission items. Vice Mayor, if you would take the gavel. This is a motion and discussion, possible action to direct the city attorney's office to amend the city's board appointment ordinance to exclude from board or committee membership the appointment of any active elected officials who are currently serving elsewhere as a board or committee member, except when required by federal, state, or county law. Commissioners, this is a sometimes difficult thing to do, but it has been the pattern and practice of the city of Pembroke Pines in the past to appoint elected officials to county advisory boards. And I can tell you that as a commissioner, I never once did it, and as your mayor, I never will. Simply because how Commissioner Schwartz phrased it before so eloquently, the optics. It has nothing to do with any one of them. They are all outstanding individuals. There's never been even the hint of scandal. There's never been a problem with any of them in terms of any ethical issue. But the optics are simply horrible. Other cities have this prohibition. They are under oath to another unit of government. And I'm talking only about appointments that we make. I'm not talking about appointments we're on or where the federal government or the state government or local law, for example, Vice Mayor Good is our representative to the MBO. He's an elected official. That's not what I'm talking about. The charter of the MPO requires elected officials. I happen to serve, not at your behest, but at behest of the Broward County Commission as vice chair of the Planning Council. I'm an elected official. The charter of Broward County requires it. I was selected by our district commissioner. It has nothing to do with this. This is about who we appoint to our boards. There have been times when as many as 5 elected officials have served on the boards, and because of, of their talent. Very often they become chairs or vice chairs of boards. All of them raise money to run for office. The optics are just not there. We have the good fortune of living in a community that is deep in talent. You walk down any street in Pembroke Pines, you will find experts in just about every area, whether it's aviation or finance or government or the arts or environmental or lawyers. We have wonderful people who want to participate. And I think it's important that that this be a civilian board, a citizen board, certainly, but a civilian board of people who are non-elected from the city commission. And I have always felt that that was the appropriate thing to do. And I'm eager to hear what your reaction to that is.
I'd like to hear from my colleagues before I opine.
So these are our city boards that we have the opportunity to appoint. So we're
Yes.
saying to exclude elected officials. Give me an example, like if our school board member, I decided fit the role of the education advisory board.
Right.
Is that kind of what you're talking about, or?
Yes, almost. That would be a good example of something that if we pursued this would not take place. Nor would we appoint a county commissioner to an appointed board or a state representative to an advisory board or an elected official to the planning and zoning board or to the Board of Adjustment or to the pension board or to any of the other appointments that we make, except where federal, state, or local law require that a person be an elected official. I simply feel that that it creates an optics problem at a time when the public is particularly cynical about government. And I think that in our past, we have had as many as 5. I've looked into it at any given time. And very often as chairs or vice chairs of boards. And I think that sort of takes the wind out of a resident advisory council. So that's my discussion. And I know it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I actually think that this is a good idea. And I have to tell you that that will be my criteria, and it has been my criteria for appointing board members. I want to find people who are citizens, who are engaged and aware of issues and are not under oath to anything other than what they think is best for Pembroke Pines. That's my view of who I personally wish to get advice from when we listen to our citizen advisory board.
Mayor, I agree. Now that you've explained it better, I'm more aligned. I was at first going to say no, but I'm more aligned with it. First of all, just a thought, if you're an elected official somewhere else, I have no idea how much time you would have to actually serve on any city's board if whether you're a state representative, which means 3 months out of the year, you're in Tallahassee in legislative session. If you're a school board member, you have, what is it, two, Patty Good would know better, but 2 meetings a month, 3 meetings a month plus town halls. So I'm understanding better now where you're going with this. I did want to add that at least in District 4, you've appointed me to multiple boards. I don't remember any elected officials serving there, and it's coming back to me as I think about the other boards that I've served on within the city. So I can appreciate this, and I'll wait to listen to my colleagues.
Mr. Mayor, so you actually bring a very interesting point. When I saw this, I mean, I do want to hear a little bit more from your perspective. You know, I'm having a really challenging time with this right now. I don't discount the, you know, the basis on which you are perceiving this particular item, how you know, appoint people. I mean, you said a very critical thing is, you know, you hold yourself to a standard, and I think we all hold ourselves to a standard, and we're expected to do that. You know, and I can say that I don't even know that I have, if I may have appointed any electeds
You have.
to a board.
You have.
I have one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I wasn't
Actually,
gonna,
multiple-
I wasn't
Okay, all
gonna
right.
get into
Actually,
who
multiple
did what.
boards,
Hmm?
multiple boards, Vice Mayor.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't, I'm.
may I interject for a second?
Yeah.
If this makes folks uncomfortable, I don't have to do this tonight. We
Well-
we can think about this for another,
My
I-
thought is if
you know,
we
I don't
serve
have
on-
to, you know, if you guys want to think about this a little bit more, we can bring it back another time.
If I don't know, if Vice Mayor's finished his thought.
Well, what, the bottom line I wanted to get to is that, you know, it's the way this is reading that, you know, if we proceed in this direction, we would not have that choice to make at some future time, which
No, right.
is very, that I'm having the issue of getting over, because I know there are some people that I do respect, and I do find that they're very actually valuable and helpful on some of these boards.
I don't want
And-
anyone to misunderstand. I respect them all.
No, and I didn't mean
No, I know.
to
I know.
allude to that. I
I know.
apologize. That's not what I meant to represent. It's just, giving up the right to pick somebody who I think is the most appropriate person to serve on a board in a certain arena is very challenging for me to yield that right. So I'd like to sit on this a little bit more.
You know what? I'm happy to withdraw the item, and if any of you think it's.
Let me
it-
weigh
it is
in
worth,
before we take any
pursuing.
action.
I am very clear about not wanting to divide this commission. I happen to think it's a good idea, but I'm not so in love with it that I'm willing to create a problem over it. So with your indulgence,
I'm willing to.
I'd like to, what do you want to do? You want to think about it? What do you want to
I'd
do?
like to weigh in.
Okay,
So Mayor and I have served together now, we'll just call it 13 years. I've never had a member of the public approach me to say that they're concerned about the who's appointed to boards. If I have a drainage district commissioner who wants to serve on that diversity and heritage board, I think we should have that option. If we have a drainage district commissioner who wants to serve on the education board, I certainly don't have an issue with that. What I do have an issue with is when a drainage district commissioner is removed from the Board of Adjustment, when they are the expert at the exact thing that the Board of Adjustment is supposed to be debating, whether or not we have flooding in our community, whether or not the expansion of a variance is going to impact flooding in their neighborhood. I have a greater issue with someone being removed with that talent level, whether or not they are elected. Mayor, I welcome your withdrawal of the item, and I think we should move forward.
so is that what you want? Do you want to withdraw, or do you want to bring it back, or what's your pleasure? I do not want to split this commission over something. I'm simply telling you that I feel strongly about not engaging in this because the optics are horrible. And that's my opinion. Nor do I think that anyone has such unique knowledge that any number of Pembroke Pines residents couldn't do it equally or better. So I just don't buy that we have to do this with elected officials. It's a very strange sort of thing that we do here in Pembroke Pines. Other cities don't do it. I've spoken to other mayors about this, and they just don't. I mean, they never have. It's not even considered. If, you know, I mean, it could, I mean, look, it's just, it's an optics problem. That's it.
Commissioner Schwartz.
Yeah, Mayor, in the 13 years we've been together, the only elected officials I can think of came from the drainage district. I don't recall any other government entity of any kind other than Drainage Board District, which is a special district, which, I mean, we have people serving on the district right now who weren't even elected, they're appointed, and they were removed from boards. I just,
Okay.
The issue to
So-
me is if you're elected, you're sworn under oath. And I just don't think that,
I don't know how a drainage district commissioner whose responsibility
well,
is-
I mean, look,
allow me to finish,
Go ahead.
whose responsibility is to ensure that backyards aren't flooded and that canals have movement of water. I mean, Vice Mayor Good was on the board of that board. And so I'm preaching to the choir about the importance of that. To me, if one of those individuals want to serve and they reside within a district, I mean, who am I to say that they are uniquely unqualified because they chose to serve on the taxing authority that collects $31 a year?
look,
And so
I
again,
don't see
it's
it that
only
way.
drainage
And this
district.
isn't about the drainage issue.
But
this
this,
district.
but these are the only elected officials
Sir,
there in
this is
20
not-
years.
That's, you're misreading. That's a coincidence.
Oh.
It could have been a school board member. It could have been a state rep. It could have been a county commissioner. It could have been a constitutional officer. I simply believe that if you're an elected official, you should be an elected official. And I think that it's resident advisory boards should be for non-elected people who are residents and who have no other stake except their city. Nothing that they're sworn to except the duty that we swear them under.
Okay,
And
so
that's just the way I feel about it.
that's fine, but just for the record, okay, I have appointed folks who serve in elected capacity. Vice Mayor Good has done the same. And Mayor, you've also supported that over this 13-year period.
I've never appointed him.
There are people who are in this room right now that have received your support on board, sir. It's all records. So let's
Look,
move on.
I'm
move on with unity
I'm explaining to
and not
you that I
division.
have never appointed
But voting.
of my own, someone to an advisory board in that way.
All right, so let's do this. I mean, because it's a circle now. So why don't we just say, let's give some thought to this, and if you wish to bring it back again later, at least we will all have had some time to be thoughtful in this, because there are some conversations I'd like to have myself personally with some folks, as well as my constituents in terms of how they feel about that type of thing happening as well. So-
I'll bring it, Madam Clerk, let's bring it back in a month. And if anyone wants to add to this, I am very much encouraging of resident advisory boards taking a bigger role than just coming here on board night.
Yeah.
I think that we need to give them assignments. I have had some very high quality people quit those boards because they just feel it's not satisfying. I would like to see residents much more involved in speaking out about the city, being involved in the issues, helping us to think things through. So there may be other things within the appointments ordinance that for advisory boards that you want to present.
Yeah, we probably need to look at this even more in a larger way than just what we're talking about right now.
Constitutionally.
Maybe that's what we should do.
Constitutionally, I'm asking, I mean, the majority, there's ordinances we can pass and that sort of thing. But you have an individual who's elected, not qualified, but what if someone's running for office? I mean, isn't that?
That's not part of my,
But isn't
motion.
that optics as well? You know, now you have somebody who is running for
We can
office
have that
and using the
discussion.
board for that purpose.
We can have that discussion.
I can tell you that I was the chair of the Central Examining Board for Broward County. That oversees the construction folks that are non-state the ones that you can't get a state license for, I was the chair for that board before I was elected. And under Chapter 9 of the Broward County Code of Ordinances, I could not serve in that capacity. However, you know what I could do? I could run for drainage district and still have this seat. And the reason why I know that is because the mayor brought that to my attention. I wasn't elected at the time. And there was discussion about the both of us actually running for the drainage district. Remember that conversation?
I remember.
And what our goals were if we had been elected together to serve on that drainage district. It was interesting.
But that's not my motion. My motion is about advisory boards within the city.
Think about it, but right now, if
All right, so we're gonna-
I've given it thought and I can't support the concept, Vice Mayor. If you need to speak to some folks, speak to some folks.
Well, I'm just
But
saying that,
I'm not,
we're
if it
gonna,
comes back in a month, I'm a no.
I got you.
So mark me down for that, because I just think that it doesn't, I've never heard testimony in 13 years as an elected official, and I know you haven't either. So, you know, if an individual, if any one of us choose not to appoint somebody, that's your business. Just don't appoint them. But to say that Commissioner Hernandez can't select somebody who is qualified to serve on the Diversity and Heritage Board, I think goes just a step too far. And I'm just not comfortable with that.
Okay.
So we'll let everybody have an opportunity to digest this a little bit. So the conversation that comes up again, we can, speak more to it. And then as we heard the mayor speak, this is not a die on sword element for him. So I think it's good that we all have a free rein in reviewing this. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. Here you go.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone for a good meeting, and we'll see you next time. We're adjourned.
Were you gonna do something about the meeting for the all-day,
Huh?
I thought. Charlie.